This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. On this episode of the MQP, Chloe Clemente, a dynamic solo artist hailing from the vibrant music scene of LA, now making waves in Dallas with her electrifying 80s inspired rock and roll sound. With her band in tow, Chloe has graced iconic venues from the legendary Whisky A Go-Go to the esteemed House of Blues. Most recently, she has captured the spotlight at festivals across the, as they call it, the DFW area, including winning this year's Waco Block Party Battle of the Bands, where she took home a $1,000 prize. Other notable performances include appearances at the Dallas International Guitar Festival, the Arlington West Main Festival, the Fort Worth Roots Beer Festival, and more. Known for infusing every performance with raw emotion and unrelenting energy, Chloe captivates audiences with her soulful delivery and magnetic stage presence. Her electrifying live shows leave fans clamoring for more. Her musical journey has led to share the stage with rock legends such as Faster Pussycat, Vinny of Black Sabbath, Matthew Johnson of Great White, further solidifying her status as a rising star in the rock scene. I'm happy to have Chloe Clemente join me here on the Metal Queens podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much. That was an intro, dude. I am just a person.
But a person who's done a lot already and a lot more to come, which we're going to talk about.
Oh yeah, and I just do my best to bring good energy and just I love performing for big audiences and just any audience in general. So, there you go.
So, when you were growing up in LA, how important was music in your life?
It has always been there, if that makes sense. I grew up singing and everything. My dad brought home a karaoke machine from the Philippines where he was stationed. He's a retired colonel now. So I come from greatness, I would say.
Yeah,
Just I have on both sides of my family, we have overachievers slash people who are just we're very I would say just driven in general. So I grew up in that type of setting, and I thank God every day that I have supportive parents. Um, but I've always had music in my life. I had a lot of death in my family growing up, so just I clung on to music as this kind of beacon of just like it gets it, you know? It really does. And I also grew up homeschooled, so I had friends and everything, and I grew up around people, but for the most part, I was pretty much just on my own. I figured stuff out on my own, and music has always been in my life in some capacity. So now, as a grown up, I have made it my entire life. A fully independent musician. I make my money through music one way or another. So I work as a vocal coach. I work as an assisted living performer. So I sing to old groups of old people. Completely
that's great.
different style than
Yeah.
probably what you're thinking, but it's really super fun. I mean, they're a captive audience, and to have somebody who has graced, as you said, festivals and the caliber in which I've performed, putting me in that setting, it's the best of both worlds because I get an audience who is so happy, so grateful to have me, and I get to sing. I get to use my voice. So it's just nice. It's just very nice. And then on top of that, I do all my own booking. I don't have a manager. I do all my own bookings as far as festivals, shows, all of that goes. And I've made some good friends in Dallas, and it's given me a lot musically. And I've also noticed a lot of the musicians out here are very incredibly talented, incredibly skilled, but also very good people. So that's kind of a contrast to LA. I feel like in general, the culture out there is very hit and miss. There's a lot of, I would say fakeness. And there's just a lot of, it's very saturated. Everybody's trying to make it. There's all these pay to plays. Out here you can actually get a gig, which is very, very cool. But it's becoming kind of, have been saying it for years now. It's kind of becoming another hub like Austin, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I've it's nothing that I could have ever imagined moving here just because I moved here in 2019 from LA. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I was 16. I was scared. And yeah, just I figured it out and I couldn't be happier. I get to spend every day, pretty much every day doing music, which sometimes is a lot, I will say. But yeah, that's my story so far.
Yeah, you really went out on your own, Chloe. I was going to ask you, why Dallas?
My dad got a job here. That's literally it. Just fate. And I happened to get hired at a music school that's a part of a franchise that I was originally part of in LA. The founder called me. He was like, "Hey, you should come check the place out. How far are you from Frisco?" And I'm like, 10 minutes.
Mm.
So I ended up doing social media there, and then I got a job as a vocal coach, which I didn't think I'd ever do, but here we are. It's all just kind of a twist of fate, and I mean, as soon as I moved to Dallas, um, I went straight into my parents gave me three options. They were like, join the Air Force slash the military in general, which I would have thrived. Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. I would have thrived. I'd been
Your
fine.
father's
But
background,
yes, my father's
the
background,
military
and also
background.
yes, I'm a very, like, my personality is very bubbly, but I'm also a very organized individual. I'm very calculated. So, you got the left and right side brain going up, sides of the brain going over there. Um, but they gave me three options. They were like, okay, you can either join the military, go to college, or join a band. Now, I did the other two options, which were join a band and go to school. So I originally, like in California and everything, you'll see like photos around, you know, here. My mother decorated in here. Okay. You have Star Trek over there, but ignore that. That's my dad.
You got to love
It's the
Star
only spot.
Trek. Yes.
Oh, I love it too. It's the only spot where he could put all of his Star Trek stuff because, yeah, that's a running joke in my house. I'm sorry. Um, but I came here and I originally was in this band called Surge
Yeah.
that was kind of getting local recognition in LA. And thing that we kind of noticed is over the past couple years, like especially being in that band, we're playing the same venues with the same people. It's just we're stuck. We're hitting this wall, you know? Over here, it doesn't, there's definitely something, but there's not as much of a wall, which is nice. But or what was the original question? I'm so sorry.
Oh, how you wound ended up in Dallas and
How
why
I ended
Dallas? Yeah.
Why Dallas? Okay. Yes. So I was over there. I was in that band, right? So that broke up. Then my dad got a job opportunity over here. We moved over here. I was brokenhearted because of that band, because your first band,
Yeah.
like especially the bond that I had with those people, which I still do. Like my guitarist Matt, I still call him my guitarist. He calls me at least twice a week.
Mm.
He's a firefighter now. Like he has like a whole life. He's in Colorado. I almost said California. He moved. I went to his wedding, all that. But I was definitely brokenhearted when I came here. I was like, oh, it's a tough move. But I'd already had a lot of performing experience by the time I came to Dallas. Um, 300 plus shows. I'd been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to perform in that band and also just be in that LA scene. And it's so competitive, and to be kind of raised in that was crazy. I mean, I started out playing dive bars when I was 14. And
Mm.
even before that, I was in the bars because my parents loved to karaoke. So they just bring me with them. So it was definitely an interesting move. Different mindsets here, different people, which is nice. But came here, joined a different band. That did not work out, unfortunately. I learned the hard way that not every band is going to have the best people in it and the best musicians. So that did not work out. But I did go to college. I've since graduated with an associate's in commercial music. I'm also a certified audio engineer in both studio and live sound. So that's also, I basically went like this. So I came to Dallas as a performer and singer, but now I am a vocal coach, audio engineer. I have some production skills. I have to focus on one thing or another. Otherwise, I get crazy.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
So,
So it's been an interesting journey, and I mean it's opened me up to a lot of different things, and I am a completely different person. I went from, kind of just this one thing, one trick pony to just all sorts of things, which is nice.
yeah, you
So,
broadened, and
mhm.
you made a go of it, and now are a solo artist. You
Yes.
played at some iconic venues. Any favorites?
I gotta say it would be the whiskey.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Like, well, at least in LA and everything, my favorite band is Guns N' Roses.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like, I love all of that 80s rock, like to be able to grace that stage as much as I did, and like my old band was actually became the backing band for a little bit. Like, whenever a band would call out, they'd call us. So it was just really cool to get that opportunity. And then since then, actually in the past year or last year, I trained a band out of the school that I work at. By the way, it's called Rockstars Tomorrow Frisco. There's a little plug for them. I trained a band. They're called Liar Liar. They went to the whiskey, and I got to go with them and watch them grace the same stage that I did about almost 10 years ago.
mm.
And the full circleness that I've experienced in the past year has been crazy. So it is just, I mean, I know it's not what it used to be, but you know what? There's a lot of history there. I'm a history buff. I like history, and especially music history. I think it's really cool, and more people should get into it.
Yeah,
The way that I do get my students to get into it, by the way, is the Fleetwood Mac drama, because I think that it's just crazy.
it
And
really is. Yeah,
it is. Like there's layers.
a lot of
I think about
layers there. Yeah.
I think about Silver Springs a lot. So yeah, just there you go. It would be the Whiskey A Go-Go for many, many, many reasons.
Well,
Over here in Dallas, I would say just the festivals that I've played in general. So I don't really have like a favorite venue. Or you know what? I just played Ruins in Dallas. It's in Deep Ellum. I try to avoid Deep Ellum. It's a little sketch sometimes. Just a lot. There's a lot of stuff there. They gotta go in there. But Ruins is also really cool. They have these murals on the walls, and like, okay, I'm a Christian, but there's a ton of like just really cool Aztec like dark stuff on the walls, and like I just think it's so cool.
do you prefer the smaller venues or the festivals?
They both have their different charms. I mean, there's pros and cons to each as well. So, festivals, I like it because the crowd is like, it can be huge, and as at the level that I'm at, like, I think it's very important for artists, especially such as myself, to know where exactly you're at as far as your crowd pull and like where you're at as far as like musicianship, all of that. So I have stats. Um, I do enjoy the festivals a lot just because the crowd pool, I get to expand my email list, I go basically you're playing where the crowd's already at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't have to be bugging people over the phone like, "Hey, can you come to my gig? Can you do this? Can you do that?" Because I mean, it's hard getting people out there, and I've had to pace my gigs like 2 months from each other just so, you know, everybody can make it and actually want to go. So there you go. But then at the same time, the festivals are hot.
Very hot.
So it's
Yes.
very hot, and like you have to bring all your equipment. I mean, there's this one time my drummer forgot his snare drum. And luckily it was a music festival, so me and, my best friend Mandy, she played bass in my band for a little while. She's since got a job at Cadillac, which is crazy. Um, but I'm like, okay, Mandy, look as cute as possible. We went up. I'm like, you've made me resort to something that I don't want to do. So we go up to this random band. They're called Stoneheart. I'll never forget it. We go up to them and I'm like, "Hi, my name's Chloe. My drummer forgot our snare drum. Can we borrow yours after your set?" And they let us borrow it. I
Yeah.
paid the guy like $30 though because I don't believe. Okay, that's the other thing. I have a pet peeve. Especially this year, like one of my New Year's resolutions, I'm like, I want to pay my musicians since I am a solo artist, and it's like this isn't a band. And especially when I first moved here, like I was considering being a solo artist. A lot of people told me not to. There's that whole push and pull. But since it has my name on it and I'm basically giving them material, I'm like, you're getting paid.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
that's that is one of my pet peeves when musicians don't get paid, don't get recognized. That's you're not supporting the economy. You know what I mean? Like you're not anyway, just I have a lot of respect for the people I work with and yeah, especially for even just like the random musicians out in the street, people that I borrowed the snare drum for from, that's we couldn't have done our set without them. I'm like, you know what? This is the world we live in. I love y'all. Here you go. So there you go.
Well, you have a busy rest of 2025. You've got a new EP, a 5-song EP coming. What's a Girl to
Yeah,
Do? And it includes a cover, an 80s cover of a
yes,
Vixen
it
song.
does. Yes, it does. It's funny. It's another full circle moment. I used to play that in my old band. We were looking for just a cover, an 80s cover to do. I do a great rendition of Separate Ways. I do a great rendition of Barracuda, but it's a lot of people have already done that. And I'm like, nah, we're gonna dig deep here. And I'm like, hold on. I used to do a Vixen song that isn't like people know it, like you know it,
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
other a lot of people like especially my age demographic, it's like, okay, who is that? So that's gonna be very fun. The EP also includes the previous songs that I've released. It's just in the order that you're supposed to listen to them in. So basically, the entire EP kind of goes through this breakup and back and forth of just like, oh my God, will they, won't they? And then at the end, it's like, you know what? Heck this guy.
Mm.
I'm out. So it was pretty fun to write. My producer and I, the first three originals that I was talking about, so Look at What You Done to Me, This Time Love, and Say It's Over. He actually wrote those three in the 80s.
Oh,
And
wow.
then he's been looking for a vocalist to do to actually sing them for 40 years. And he happened to coach me from the age of 9. And he's like, Chloe, you're it. I need you to do this. And I'm like, all right. And the entire way it started is like last year, I just had this random urge. I always say, those little whispers from God, like, hey, call Billy. Billy Purnell, that's who trained me. He's also trained Tori Kelly, Kiki Palmer, a bunch of people in LA. So just yeah, it's been great. But I called him up and that got hashed out. And he's helping me produce the other two. So What's a Girl to Do? That is the song that I'm gonna be putting at the end of the entire EP. That song I wrote fully.
And what's it about?
He helped me out. It's about a breakup that I actually went through. So I try to not, especially with my songs, I don't write unless I'm really, and if you were to ask me as like a coach, as a teacher, I'd be like, no, you got to write every single day. I've gotten it down to a point where like if somebody gives me a prompt, I could be like, okay, yeah, I can do that. But I write my songs based off of if I'm feeling a certain way about something and I need to figure out how I'm feeling, because that's, like I said, I grew up, music has always been there for me, So that's how I take it in. Now, I had gone through this breakup with this dude that was just a loser, basically. And I just remember I wanted to be with this guy so bad. It's the classic story of young girl meets older guy. They get into a relationship. And then I realized, I'm like, this guy isn't doing anything for me. He doesn't buy me flowers. He doesn't, just little things, like I don't feel appreciated. And I kind of just felt like an emotional punching bag. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I need to be strong enough to walk away. And I did. So, What's a Girl to Do basically goes, it's a full diss track. And I normally don't like to give anybody that power over me, but I was mad. And if I this is my thing as a person, I am either to the point where I create something, I need to feel a very strong emotion. So, and usually based on my other songs, it's either anger, so basically making me mad enough to get to the point of creation, or sad enough. And then there's this time love in there, just all happy and stuff, which
Yeah.
I love happy music, but yeah, just this is how I write, and this is how I've gotten it out. And I do have like some more originals in the works, for next year that I'm
Good.
like,
So
okay,
a lot more to come. By the way, those first three songs, the videos are out because they came out last year. You can check them out
yes,
on Chloe's website, chloeclemente.com, or YouTube as
yes,
well. The new EP coming out later this summer, What's a Girl to Do? Also on her website and on socials, you can check out any upcoming tour dates too, because I'm sure you'll have
yes.
some later this summer, throughout the
Oh,
summer and the fall too.
yes, I'm super excited.
All right. Chloe Clemente. By the way, you can connect with her on social at Chloe Clemente Official. And the website again
Yes.
is chloeclemente.com. Hey, Chloe, thanks for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. I'm Steve Richards.
Louder Than Life, America's loudest festival returns to Louisville this September with Slayer, Deftones, Avenged Sevenfold, Bring Me the Horizon, plus Sleep Token, Suicide Boys, Bad Omens, Rob Zombie, A Perfect Circle, Marilyn Manson, Evanescence, Knocked Loose, 3 Days Grace, Lamb of God, and so many more. Louder Than Life. September 18th through 21st in Louisville, Kentucky. Passes are on sale now at louderthanlifefestival.com.